Hi guys, Olive here. Here today to talk to you about what I plan on reading in April 2022. I also have a very small announcement to make in this video, but I know you clicked on this video to hear about the books. So I'm going to talk about those first, and then I'll talk about everything else at the end of the video. Lately, I've been starting off my wrap-up and TBR videos by discussing all the fiction books that I've either read or want to read, depending on what type of video it is, and I've been really liking that structure. So I'm just going to keep on doing that. I do have some fiction books that I want to read in April. I will say that fiction is going to make up a minority of my reading plans in April as opposed to last month when I predominantly read fiction, but there are some fiction books that I want to talk about. And I'm going to start off by talking about a pair of books from my own personal collection that appeared in Try a Chapter tags last year as I was doing my big fiction clear out project. The first of that pair is People of the Book by Geraldine Brooks. This book is about a rare book conservator who is tasked with restoring an old religious text, and then she travels around the world trying to uncover the history of that text. When I read the first 25 pages or so of this book last year, I remember I really liked the main character and I wanted to keep going, which is why I kept it around. Well, now the time has finally come. I'm gonna finish this. And then the other book I'll be picking up after reading a snippet of it last year is A Guide for the Perplexed by Dara Horn. This book has two different timelines set a century apart from one another. In the more modern timeline, we follow a software engineer who has designed an app that catalogs everything its users do. And then in the other timeline, set a century before the more modern timeline, we follow a Cambridge professor who is hunting for a medieval archive hidden in a Cairo synagogue. But the next fiction book I'll be taking on in April is part of my ongoing push to read through all of Meg Wollitzer's backlist. I am so close to being done. The next one I will be tackling is This Is My Life. This book came out in 1994, but when it did, it had the title This Is Your Life. But then this book got a movie adaptation directed by Nora Ephron. It was actually her directorial debut, and they called that movie This Is My Life. So then they reissued the book using the movie's title to tie the two together. This is about a stand-up comic and her two daughters. And based on the trailer that I just recently watched for that movie, it seems like it's supposed to be a heartwarming tale. I don't know what I'm going to think about this one. It doesn't have the greatest Goodreads reviews, and as I just said in my latest wrap-up, the books in her backlist can be really hit or miss for me. But it seems like this book is the book that put her on the map, so I've got to read it. And then the last fiction book that I plan to read in April is also going to be my classic book of the month. That is Ovid's Metamorphoses. I've been trying to get through this book for years. I had a different edition, and I don't think that translation was agreeing with me. So when I asked for recommendations on what translation I should try, one of you highly recommended this edition. I just showed this off in my latest haul. Now that I have this, I'm ready to give it another try. I am hoping for the best, and it felt like spring was the right time to read this. But now moving on to nonfiction, I have a few books from publishers that I've received over the past few months that I really want to get to in April. The first one of those is called The Sisterhood of the Enchanted Forest by Naomi Moriyama and William Doyle. This book is apparently a blend of nature writing and memoir, my very favorite combination, in which the author, with the help of her co-writer husband, describes her time living on the Finnish side of Karelia and bonding with an empowered group of women. Another nature book I got from a publisher is a very new release. It's called Roar of the Sea by Deb Vanass. This book tells the story of fur seal poaching in Alaska's Bering Sea and how one conservationist exposed corruption and went up against some notorious seafarers, including one that inspired Jack London's book, The Sea Wolf, in order to save these seals. When the publicist reached out to me about this book, it sounded directly up my alley. I will be very excited to read this. And the last book that I got from a publisher that I will be taking on in the month of April is another short one. It's called Inconceivable by Alex Johnston. This is a memoir written by a woman who, like many modern women are doing these days, put off childbearing until her 30s, only to then struggle with fertility and suffer many tragedies on her journey of trying to become a mother. I don't have kids myself, but probably largely because of my years spent working as a nanny, working with families, stories of mothers or women who want to become mothers, who are trying to become mothers. Those stories always really interest me. I know this will be a heartbreaking read, but I'm really looking forward to reading her story. Next up is a memoir from my own book collection that I've been wanting to read for a really long time, and for whatever reason, April struck me as the month I would like to read it. It's called Surfacing by Kathleen Jamie. This is a memoir in essays that are set largely at archaeological digs in both Alaska and Scotland. And these essays deal a lot with memory, both the author's memories and then the memories unearthed at these digs. I have heard incredible things about this book. I think it's going to be a real treat this month. And then finally, I have 2 new releases that I would very much like to prioritize in April. The first one is another memoir in essays called Bomb Shelter by Mary Laura Philpott. And the essays in here seem like they're going to run the gamut. Health anxieties, being a mother, living in this pandemic age. It seems like a number of different things are going to be discussed. I've been hearing good buzz about this one for a very long time, so I have been eagerly anticipating it. And then the last book on my April menu is the new book from Susan Cain. It's called Bittersweet: How Sorrow and Longing Make Us Whole. And it's all about how the sadder parts of life are a legitimate part of the human experience. I love her previous book, Quiet, which is all about introverts. That is a very popular book. It has been one of my nonfiction favorites for years and years and years. So you would definitely not catch me missing her new one. So those are all the books that I'm planning on reading in April, but very quickly, before I close out this video, I just wanted to give you a little heads up that I'm not going to be posting as much during this month, April, or next month, May. I'm going to be posting about half as many videos as I normally do. For each month, there's going to be a TBR, a wrap-up, a Wishbone video, and then probably one more, probably a review video. But since that is half of what I have been doing for the past 7 years, I just thought I would let you know. I'm doing this because I really just need a little bit of time to recharge. I've been posting so consistently for so many years that I don't really know what life is like not worrying about the next video that needs to go up on my channel. So even if it's just for a number of weeks, I would like to take a step back from that. I won't be gone completely. I will still be making videos. I'm not sure I would know what to do with myself if I weren't making at least some videos, but I don't want such a demanding schedule in the spring. In my life off of the internet, I have a very busy spring and summer ahead, and I would like some time to focus on the things in my life that aren't on the internet. I'm getting ready to celebrate 15 years together with my husband, not 15 years married. We're not quite there yet, but we celebrate our together anniversary. So that's going on this spring. I have lots of other things planned for the summer, and I want to spend some time outside. I want to spend some time in my garden. I just want to focus on some other things for a little while. So pulling back a little bit, giving myself some time to prepare for the summer so that in the summer I can be preparing for the fall and spending some time getting ready for Nonfiction November so I don't fall so behind like I did last year. I just really need it. I really considered not saying anything about this because I know you have a ton of people in your feed. I'm not the only YouTuber you watch. So I didn't really expect a lot of people to notice that I was temporarily pulling back, but I have been doing this so consistently for so many years now that I didn't want anyone to worry because my videos weren't as plentiful as normal. Everything is fine. I'm just pulling back for a little bit of time so I can catch my breath and get a head start on some things. But I hope to be back to a normal posting schedule around June. But that's now it for this video. If you have any comments or questions about anything you've seen in this video or about anything in general, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. And if you would like to keep up with what I am reading and writing about right now, especially as I'm pulling back a little bit from posting on this channel over the next couple of months, You can find me on places like Goodreads and Instagram, where I don't have any plans to slow down. I'll still be posting over there as normal. So if you'd like to keep up with me over there, the links to all of my profiles are at the bottom of the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.